Yo, I'm not that I'm excited, but I found out that my ex is still using my name to like lease his apartment, and I was like, that's against the law, right? So I started calling around to see if I could talk to the apartment, and they're like, well, we'll just talk with him. And I guess they're just going to get him, they're going to work with him, which is just, I guess, have him just fill out another application. But he's been doing it for 3 years because I separated 3 years ago, but I've been divorced for 2 years. And so since they're going to work on his behalf, and I was like, okay, that's fine. But y'all knew that. Y'all were taking either no ID, y'all were allowing two people to sign, and you were doing it electronically, which is what they did with me while I was living there for a couple of years. And even though they went through different leasing management, right? So the entire staff would get taken out and a whole nother staff would be put in, even though they were owned by the same company. Now, whenever the property that I lived in, there's townhomes and there's units. Whenever they were bought out, because I lived there since 2013. And for the 13 years, I don't know the math, but there were different companies that came out and bought the whole property. And in the different times that they did that, there were an entirely different crew in the leasing office. And so what they did while we were trying to renew our lease, once a year, we would get sent through email, through a portal. Sometimes through a portal, but sometimes just through our email. So 2 different ways that we could renew our lease. I know that for me, my ex would ask me to go ahead and sign. Sometimes he would go and make the arrangement for please include the trash, please include the mail, or please include the sewage, or what parking, please include this and that, or take this off, and then he would discuss that with them, and then they would only see him, they would only discuss with him, and then I would just sign. And then I would see all these, and I would know that would be done because I could see that on our lease. And so it would go up, it would go down, it wouldn't be the same. And sometimes it would go up only because they have just decided that we don't charge this anymore, we charge this. And so I would just be at the end stage, I would just sign. And so sometimes I would attempt to come to him, or really just actually come to him in conversation and be like, hey, what are we paying for? He would be like, are you paying rent? Okay, well then don't ask me. Do you have a job? Okay, then this is none of your concern. And so like that would be the beginning and the end of the conversation. So that marriage didn't last long because I did have a job at many times. And then I remember telling him, hey, I'm gonna stop working for the state of Texas as a parole officer. What do you think? And then he'd be like, okay, that's fine, whatever, we'll help, we'll manage. And he would talk like that, and I would fall for it. And when I say fall for it, it sounds endearing and it sounds compassionate. Hey, if you want to let that job go, let the job go. I remember laughing, telling him, hey, this casework is a lot. And I remember crying, and he was hugging me, and we were laying in the bed, and I was just like, and he was laughing, and I was just like, he was laughing. He was just like, why are you crying? And I was just like, oh, because it's a lot. And he was like, what? And he was like, well, you the one that go into people's houses. I would never even do that. You the one that, has chose to do that. And I was like, I think you were literally there while my father was telling me, hey, you just graduated, go on and get you a state job. You can stay there 20 years. And so you were literally there in the living room while we were having that conversation. But now you're the one that chose that. So anyways, he's one of those, like, I'll be there in the middle of a conversation, but then when it comes to, like, I have like a comment about it, then he'd be like, well, that's you, that had nothing to do with me. So he wasn't like, like a one mentality, whatever, like that. And so when it came to like the conversations with like about the lease, he was like, don't even ask me about that, it's getting paid, don't worry about it. But meanwhile, over the 12 and a half years that we were married, we got an eviction notice on our door maybe 10 times. No more than 10 times. It wasn't like every year. It would be like sometimes 2 or 3 times in 1 year. And I remember having these dreams like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of paperwork, and I'm seeing you. He was in a singlet in the dream, and I remember there was this a woman coming to him, and then like we were behind like the screen. Me and my kids were behind the screen, but then he would go talk and like be the liaison. He would go back and forth, and I would tell him about this dream, and then turns out we had this series of issues with the leasing office, and I would only hear his part, as opposed to just me leaving and going to the leasing office and asking them or whichever, and then only for them to have attitude. Sometimes people would be like, oh, you're another person we can talk to that lives in that unit. No, I would get, well, we was talking to him and he was telling us that we just need to wait, and he gonna pay the $150 late fee, and on this day, if he don't pay it, then he's allowing us to just go on and go and call the court, and then the court will have the constable come and have you guys like, you know, empty out your what. I've never been evicted to where we had to like throw our stuff out, but I know he's even been to court, and I know this because he was telling me, I'm going on behalf of you. I was like, what? How are you? I'm a 3-time degreed educate. Like, how you gonna go on behalf? I should be there. Me going to work. So anyway, he loved to live this secret life, but when it comes to where you feel like you represented me, my contribution to how I was experiencing that marriage is because the arguments were so much and the fighting would be so much, and he would talk to me like, girl, you supposed to know, you supposed to know, but he wasn't like, let me help you out. I ain't been paying rent, and because I haven't been paying rent, how it work is, you don't pay, you gonna stay. So I don't know who else to like get this information from him or from, because it wasn't just arguing and fighting. He know how to like hurt my feelings and then get on my like, oh, you supposed to know. I went from my father's house to his house, so I've never rented a thing. Even in college I paid my rent, but I was in there with 2 other people. They paid their room or whatever we paid, and it was it. So like that's how it go here. So any other like convoluted thing or whatever, he wasn't just adding. It was something that he was just not doing, that he didn't want to share, to be honest. He didn't want me involved because it was just too much for him to explain. And that was also a reflection of like our marriage, really, because I just realized, because I was literally online, and I saw online, oh, there's people that you're married to that they don't really even like you. And I was like, that's crazy. But I had to, when I say that sat in my mind, not in the back, like kind of like in the middle, I had to bring it to the forefront eventually, because it was too much for him to deal with me, just to talk with me, to explain it was just too much. So here we are, and as a believer, I'm looking at this email where it says it's 2026, and I got this email in April saying, hey, it's time for you to renew your lease. I emailed them back, I haven't lived in this property for over 3 years. I actually was instructed by your leasing office to give you guys a 60-day notice to remove my name from the lease. And the reason why y'all asked me to do that is because y'all said that there's going to be issues on my behalf on my consumer report, saying that I'm still here, or I'm doing this, or whichever. There's still a party here in this unit that I once resided in, and if there's anything that happens there, then I'm gonna be attached to it. No. Y'all got my 60-day notice. Y'all got my 60-day notice. Now I've since moved out, and I'm renting a house right now, but how 3 years later y'all telling me renew my lease and it got my name on it, only for me to get an email back saying that was an automated email. If you have any questions, call this. I called, and then they were like, well, we will discuss with it. And that's where I went wrong. They asked, am I still residing in that unit? So what I need to do is call back and say, hey, yes, I am residing in the unit, and because I need some, other than this lease or whatever, because I got another email saying thank you for renewing the lease for 12 years. It's going to end 2027. And I was like, I didn't sign that, but it has 2 names on there. It has my name and my ex-husband's name. And I'm just like, not you, Ben. I said, okay, cool. I'm not going to talk with him. I'm not going to talk with, because when I tell you, he liked to argue about everything, and it's not arguing. He liked to disrespect me and threaten me, and the reason why he doing that because he know ain't nobody checking for me. Cool. Let me tell you who ain't checking for me still, but they gonna get on you, which is the Dallas County Police. So I'm gonna get Dallas County Sheriff's Department or the police, whichever. It's 2 different entities. Fine. So I went on, filed a report or whatever. Then they said, okay, no, you can't file no report. This is considered fraud. Go file that. I said, okay, went on and did that. Then they were like, you could file criminally, you could file civilly as well. So I started calling some lawyers. I called maybe 10 lawyers. They said, no, this is civil. You can't go file criminal. You got to file civil. I said, okay, cool. So, I called the Dallas Bar Association and I was just like, hey, whatever he doing, it cannot be associated with me. I already can't get an apartment because while we were married, he had went so far and messed up my consumer report. I can't get no apartment in my name because of evictions. And I'm never, just because in my mind at that time I was like, oh, we haven't never had our stuff thrown out, but there is something on. He has gone to court for it, and because he went to court for it but didn't share with me, he did the same thing when I filed for a protection order. Filed for protection order. They sent the response back when I could go and do a appeal or whichever. They sent the letter to the apartment, but since I was still living with him, he took all the mail, and every day before he goes to work or comes home, he'll take the mail and he put it in his trunk. And I know this because there was just no mail coming for about a year. Because I went to the court several times. One for a mental health warrant. I felt like he maybe have something, and I wanted a battery of tests to be done on him because I was still trying to stay and cooperate and work, but I just felt like I needed some information. Like what? Why are you so crazy? Why are you so uncooperative? Why are you why does everything have to be operating at a level like so high, so tense, so toxic? And I was like, okay, well, that's how people act when they don't like you. But what he did was just take all the mail, start putting it in his trunk. And I know this because I ended up eventually filing for divorce, and he set an appeal. I mean, the court set an appeal, and there was a what was a stipend, not a stipend. What is it when the stimulus had been sent? And the first time I saw him bring out stuff from his trunk was from my homegirl telling me, oh, I got this such amount of money, and I got 2 kids, you got 3, so I know you're going to get something. I was like, I didn't get no money. She was like, girl, you could at least come out to drinks with me. Come on. You always be in the house. You always be acting like you got to report to him. Blah, blah, blah. It's been a year and a half. Come on, girl, I ain't seen you. Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I didn't have no money. And she was like, listen, everyone in the country that has children got a stimulus. And I have 2 kids, you got 3. I know you got. She was like, girl, check your box, check your email, whatever. She's like, not my email, but she was like, check your mailbox or whatever. And there was nothing in it. And I checked it every day for almost 2 weeks, because I know that Friday, I was like, I'm not gonna go back way over there. Because I know ain't nothing gonna be in there. And I wasn't seeing no, even the sales papers. It was empty. There was nothing in it. And so I didn't get mail for 2 weeks, and he and I didn't get mail for 2 weeks. But little did I know that when I started pressing him, and I had her on the phone, and I had my I had her on speaker. She was like, yes, you did. Not only did you do it, I'm going to go get my letter and I'm going to start reading it off. And she said, this is the number that you can call. And when he was parking, he was getting so upset. He got back in his car. He tried to drive out. And then he just, and she said, this is the number you can call. He paused the car. So his car is halfway out the garage to our townhome. He goes to the back. He does swimming in letters. He does like, he's not crazy. He's strategic with using me to live whatever life he want to live, separate from me, in the presence of me. That's the marriage that I was in. So you know the sound of shuffling. It sounds like shuffling. Well, I walked from the front of the car because like I said, he moved the car back, but he was trying to back out. So I see him doing like this, and then shit. Too bad he had his heart, because he blasting me, enjoying his life. I see this dude laughing, enjoying himself, but he'll come home and be angry, pissed. Y'all got blankets downstairs, blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh, who left this cup here? And I was like, all these cups are drying, so I'm not gonna put them in the cabinet. The house had to be spotless. Meanwhile, he be out enjoying, laughing with his friends. Love to drink, that's fine. I'm not big on drinking. I really don't be drinking at all, really. Then come home and be angry about something, find something, and then he'll find a reason to leave because I've disappointed him in something. I didn't measure up in some way. I didn't do something right, or I should have known better. I should have known. So he ended up getting out of the car, going to the back of his trunk, popping it open, and swimming through. Then he brought out and threw me a paper. He was like, and I was like, where's the envelope that it was in? This is addressed to me. It's not addressed to you and me. And I said, I'm finna call the cops. And that's where I messed up, because I was threatening him. I was angry or whatever. And the letter was just like, it was an appeal to like, hey, if you have anything further that you would like to submit in court, you need to file another thing and go to the court where I had filed the, I said restraining order, I meant protective order. Because restraining order, I didn't do that. I never went that route. I went protective order because I wanted to go to court and submit pieces of evidence on why I felt like this gentleman was someone that I shouldn't be living with or have exposure to the children, because he's just so irate. Yes, I knew he was sneaky, but how do you prove somebody is being sneaky? I don't know how you submit that into the court. I don't know how you gather information and like record it and then submit it. This isn't the proof of me sneaky. And even if you are able to prove it, I don't know how I was going to be able to be like, this is why I need to be separated from this person. So he threw the repeal letter from the court, and they had addressed it like at the top of the previous month. They had probably addressed it to me like a week after we had even went to court. So this is like the next month after he and I going to court. And mind you, I had filed 4 different times, and the first and second time, time he was just like, fine, you want me to go to church? Fine, I'll go to church. So he started going to church, so we didn't. He was just like, but you can't be just going up to the court. Why are we still going up there when, the first, and then the second time, because that first time, I was just like, okay, fine, you'll go to church, but you should enroll in these ministries and be around these men. And several of those ministries requires for you to be sharing about your day and what you're involved in and how you're treating yourself in the walk of the Lord, your family and your friends and your wife, and how are you stewarding what these people that are that you're responsible for. And so I thought we was finna get an amazing man after this or whatever. He went 2 or 3 times, talked to nobody, told us, hey, don't be doing that. I'd be talking to people after church, but he was like, go straight to the car. I was like, this not gonna work. So just acting all desperate, feeling like this was gonna change his behavior. He's like, but if you don't like you, you don't like you. The second time I filed, because I remember he leaving the kids at the house, so he showed up at court and said them kids was in the hallway talking about, that's my toy. The judge told me to go out, go get the kids, and she was like, we gotta reconvene. We just had to reschedule. continuance. We had a continuance. And so anyway, but back, I'm telling you all this stuff, but back at the car, he ended up throwing me another sheet because she was asking about the stimulus. She want me to go out. She feel like I'm making, I don't know if she put me, I told her he was there, and I said, I'm about to put you on speaker. And she whether she knew or not, whether she's aware, I don't know. She's aware. She can hear me, but she didn't care because she felt like all the excuses I'm giving her was just out the wazoo. And I'm like, no, he finna come in, and I'm telling, and she's like, I'm finna call out the number. This is the number you need to call if you want to do the tracking on your stimulus. So he go again. He started looking, throw me another. I think one of them. No, he didn't rip it. He was like, oh, she ain't gonna. But it was a check for $5,000. He's like, I know you're not gonna give it to me. I know you're not gonna share it because now this is somebody who every year when I get the $11,000 or the $15,000, he don't file taxes with me. He said he can't file taxes with me because he files business taxes. So he just used me and the kids to file taxes. And so when the $11,000 or $15,000 comes, it's anywhere between there, comes, then he takes it and he says we need to pay bills. Meanwhile, the immediate next month we filing for eviction. There's a letter. How do I know? It's because there's a letter slipped into our door through management. Either they walking through with a they either come with another property manager, or they come with a cop, or they come with security guard or something like that. They'll walk through up and through the apartment, open up your door, slip it in, and close it back. Anytime we come back from getting gas, getting groceries, or whatever, I always see this long lease of paper, and it'll tell us when we should have paid, how much we in arrears for, and what's gonna happen if we don't. And I'll take a picture and I'll send it to him because he don't come back until late. He like to have fun with all his friends all day. Then he'll come back late, and he'll find something and shit. So now he's talking about he want this stimulus too. This is why this guy got with me for this money. However money, I don't know. I don't know if that was his original plan, but it was something he was able to do through control and through arguing and through not having conversations with me. I saw the mansion he was building in Nigeria. I saw the styles and the details of whichever. He would ask the kids, hey, do you want pink or is purple your favorite color? And then he put air conditions in there and things like that. I saw the tower that he did. The staircase into the actual unit, because he's trying to tile from the gate, the borderline gate, to the actual steps to get into the home. When I saw the size of the people compared to the ceiling, they look like little critters. These workers look like little critters. And I don't know if he's trying to have a family over there, or he's actually just gonna bring his, or he really cares about the kids. I just don't really know. I don't really know. But he used to lock me out so many times. It was crazy. But I just know that the mentality I had then to cooperate and to be there and to be present and to demonstrate, hey, I'm not against you. I was accusing me. You're against me. You see how you trying to break us up? Anytime he would lock me out, that wasn't him trying to break us up. It's because I deserved that I did something. And I'd just be throwing out the trash. So I'd be taking a walk, or I'd actually just be jogging. And he'd just lock the bottom and the top. In an apartment, when you lock the top, you can only lock the top from the inside. I was like, I don't even be taking these jogs like at the time that sometimes I take it while he's there, sometimes I take it when he's not there or whatever, but it was just so obvious, it was so intentional. I don't have any of that now because I stay by myself, and when it's my weekend I stay with my kids. I don't know if you can even hear me. I'm getting all just losing the energy to even share the story, but I just know it's a different mentality than from what I have now. And it is so interesting how I've navigated into being a security guard. I do see, for me particularly, to go into that into the field that I'm in now, even though I'm trying to go out or whatever, I'm studying and taking tests for another career choice. But the first job I got was to work at the airlines, and it wasn't making enough. His mother ended up passing away, and I gave him the $800. I was like, here, you have this. And just acted so desperate. I still act desperate, but that would sound stupid to me now. But not that stupid, because we did have joint account in the first, maybe 5-10 years of our marriage. Because I did parole the first 5 years. So between 5 and 10, I think, is when he took me off. He was like, oh, you don't got no state income coming. Bloop. Then, or I think I removed, maybe, I think, to be honest, I think I removed, I'm not sure, because he had these $800 truck payments that he needed to pay, and he was just like, yeah, you need to pay that. I was like, no. It was impossible to stay there. That was just impossible, like financially also, because he was like, any money you make has to go to me, and any money I make has to go to him. Any money I made went to him. Any money he made went to him. That's when I had to, start doing my own hair, get my own nails, stop getting them done, and just started wearing these scrunchy style. I remember filing for SNAP because he wouldn't even give me $5. I was like, well, can you come with us to go shopping? He'd be like, y'all always trying to, and I'm like, we have 3 kids. Why have this many kids and then just be like complaining all the time? But you got $1,000 cologne. You just bought this $300 coat with my card. Anyways, he was a lot. He ended up giving me the stimulus check, the $5,000. He said he needed it for his tax preparer, because that software costs money for the Drake tax software. He needed to renew that. And then he was like, I know you're not gonna give me none. He was in my face. He's like, I know you're not gonna give me none. I know you're not gonna give me none because I need this. And he was just like, but you just gonna go waste it on. And I was like, there is absolutely nothing that you are taking care of these kids. I'm finna go get on Medicaid so I can start taking them for a vision, to go get to go to the doctor. Now, if they cough, we can actually take them somewhere and do something about it. So I was gonna file for that, and I just felt empowered now that I had some cash, because now, the car that I was driving, I can actually take care of it. Put in I could get whatever brakes or whatever was just the brakes and rotors taken care of. And I was like, yeah, I really am finna go fill the freezer with frozen food. And then I went and got some clothes that actually fit, like, go all the way down to the ankle for my sons and things like that. And but maybe I didn't have to, maybe I did, whatever. But I got to be a mother, and man, money, that really helped. So after that, I ended up getting a job at the jail, and then but yeah, he ended up giving me that check. I don't know if I ended up giving him for that software or whichever. I don't remember. But when I worked at the jail, it was really, I felt like I really was comparing it to the dynamic between me and my husband, like the relationship. I felt like it was toxic. And so I left there and I became a security guard, because I realized that there were some officers that were able to do work outside of the jail. So I was like, how do y'all do that? The only way you can either do that in another version would be the security guard. So I transitioned from there into becoming a security guard. But I feel like even with my degree, I just really need to start utilizing it now, because I was working in a mindset of trying to leave my husband, and I was able to do that with the checks that I was getting working for the county. And now I'm still able to take care of myself as a security guard, but I'm not able to do any other thing else. Like if I wanted to I remember going to visit, going to attend a wedding, and it was in Houston. So like to drive down there, and to stay in a hotel, oh my God, to have like $150 extra, and then like to buy a dress, and to like get a hairstyle that is just for that weekend. Like, I remember going down there, I didn't have my, like the middle of my nails were painted because the color had already been washed away by dishes, something. So that's just how I was able to showed up, but everything wasn't like pretty, but I was able to show up. And so I just feel like the mentality I had while I was married, I still have it, because the mentality, neither man or woman could like argue with me now, and I'm gonna behave like I did while I was married, which is see what their issue is, ask them like, hey, is there a problem, or just try to walk away. They're gonna get the business back. Now, male or female, let's say they want to fight, I'm gonna put my hair up, I'm gonna be concerned because I got my braids done or whatever. I have had my braids pulled out, a braid pulled out doing security by a dude. But while I was married, he never pulled my hair. He's like shook me, he's punched, but I've never had anything with my hair done or whatever. But if somebody, a male or female, wanted to fight now, then we can do whatever it is that they want to do. We can do whatever it is that they want to do. Now, when I'm with my kids, wanting to be a good example, wanting to share the light and be compassionate, because I'm a believer in Christ, using this as an opportunity to express compassion or whatever. And that's when I'm at work, I need to demonstrate and have on camera that I'm de-escalating the situation. These things pop up first. But I'm in the parking lot right now, waiting for them to open up so I can give them my books back. Whoever, whatever, whenever. You know what I'm saying? Now. But stuff don't just happen like that. A lot of times when people want to start stuff with you, I can move away. If I'm even in the mood to do anything, I can show them, hey, you stupid, but I could be stupid with you if that's what you want. But I mean, I really gotta be, it's great weather. There's no way I'm finna just pop, start fighting because you want to start fighting. So it gotta take a lot, and stuff gotta be, the possibility is now, but it wasn't then. I definitely wasn't in that mindset 3 years ago. So definitely beaten down. I also was giving my friends not the runaround, but it was seeing them was strictly contingent on whether I wanted to get the 21 questions when I got home, whether I wanted to be in a argument when I got home. And the argument wasn't just talking back and forth. He's really good at like going off and saying some stuff that hurt my feelings, and I'm not really good at that. So that's why it always feel like if there's a way I can avoid it, let me avoid it. These braids is itchy. Woo woo. Braids itchy, bruh. I really feel like I'm not gonna get no braids no more. Oh my God. Whew, I don't deserve it. It's itchy. So that's how it was as a friend back then. Friend, acquaintance. If you had something you was doing, it would strictly be dependent on, can I bring my kids, because I can't leave them with him. Even for the interview to work in the jail, I had to bring my kids. And I told him I had an appointment at 10. It was either 10 or 10:30 that morning. And I remember telling him I had an appointment. Word was gone. He said, okay, cool. Was gone. He came back, and I knew he was in the house after I left, because when I came back, I could see that he had been in the house but then had left again. And I was like, all right, that's fine, because when I got there, God so had it that these black women were like, don't worry, we got some colors, and we got some they had some crayons, and they just set them in the and they gave because one of them had kids, she decided she gonna give each of my children a set of crayons and not like put it in a pile, which was very strategic. And may God bless all three of those women at that location, because I had to test for so many things over there. I had to do 3 different psychological tests over there, and so my kids just stayed there and colored, and while I did my test, he did that on purpose. So when I started my job, he also did it on purpose, because I was given first watch, which means I worked overnight, and he would be gone, and I was like, you're usually not even gone this late, so it's like 9:30. I need to leave. I need to be at work at 10. He'd be like, oh, hey, so I'm supposed to leave where I'm at so that you can be going to work. Now I have to accommodate. It's 9:30. Like, why wouldn't you already be back at home as a married man anyway? But I didn't say that. Let me be honest with you. I didn't say stuff like that, because like if I said stuff like that, then like I would have to have like, that would have been the worst time to say it, because I'm on my way. I'm trying to go to work. So if I really wanted to have a bad shift, start something like that, I wouldn't definitely want to say anything like that. So, but I didn't have to say stuff like that. The kind of person I was married to he was definitely mean, definitely didn't like me. I remember asking him about it, and he was just like, oh, well, I did what I knew what was best at the time. I mean, I wasn't married before. I was just like, okay, whatever. But anyway, the mentality I had then, I definitely don't have now. I do consider other things, but I also am not in that instance as often. Even when I'm doing security, yes, that physically fighting does come up, but not in my daily life. I'm here at the library to return my books. There's just things and preferences and characteristic traits and attributes that I have that don't even put me in that line, that don't even put me in that orbit. So I'm not still experiencing lines to violence. I'm not. It's just not happening. But for anyone that is watching this video and that may be in that situation now, there's a mentality that you have that it is for your safety. You can't have the mentality I have right now, to where if they want it, let's go. I'll break a nail over you. Whatever it is, no matter how big, how small you are, I feel better when I do have my security belt on, because I have a baton, I have mace or whatever. But I don't like to. It's windy right now. It's windy right now, so I'm not gonna be inclined to use my mace, because it's gonna come back on me. So, and if I use my baton on somebody that's been drinking or whichever, but on any day, any time, if they want to fight, they can get it. But also, if they want to just argue and talk crap, then that's just not I'm not skilled in it. My kids won't be skilled in roasting, because it's just not something I'm good at, and I don't practice, and I'm not finna practice, because I'm actually intentionally trying to be versed in Bible scripture. So which didn't help while I was married, because I got saved while I was married. I got saved 2020, and I hit the ball running, and I was just like, wow. When I read scripture, I'd be like, there's just so many things I'm just like, wow. And there's other stuff that I'm like, I don't get. And there's other stuff that I'm just like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And there's other things I'm just like, oh, that makes sense why later on in the Bible this is and that. So I like that feeling. I actually don't get wowed in any other experience of my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wow or choked up when I'm so I can literally only get it from what I know, which is the Bible or whatever. So so to anybody that's watching this video, and I'm ended on this, there's a mentality that you have that they playing with. If you a dude and this woman is playing with you, and they are playing with your mind, and they are playing with the boundaries that you have on yourself, and the boundaries that they're choosing not to have, you need to go off. When I say you need to go off on them, go off on them. But this is how they will know, and this is how they will learn. And I don't know the parameters, because I know I've gone into a fight with I'm looking for the knife scar. Is this it right here? Yeah. He got one, I got one. And I wanted to act crazy. And he was just like, we can go for that. And so if you take my advice, like go off on them, go crazy or whatever, be as physical as they want to, their craziness may be to death. So I don't advocate for that. Don't listen to me and then express it in your life or whatever, because that might not be something you want. You may just want to be trying to scare them. But this guy's so vindictive that I do know that if I ever wanted to fight him, he would fall out. He would call the police, and then I would go to jail. And I've had it to where he has followed me. I cannot count how many times he has followed me and taunted me, calling me stupid, calling me irresponsible, calling me a prostitute, calling me names that I realized I had a issue with stupid because I'm degreed and he's not. I realized I had an issue with him calling me a prostitute because he was just like, oh no, you need to be doing this for me. The Bible says you need to be doing this for me, and you're not doing this for me. And I'm like, sexually. And I was like, this is the only scripture that you know though. But you don't know the scripture where you're supposed to be taking care of the wife, you know, and you're supposed to treat her as the weaker vessel. That you're supposed to not be so hard on your children, and not frustrate them and not anger them and cause them to. That's Ephesians 6 where it talks about fathers. But you don't know any of those other scriptures. You don't know about like, oh, don't deprive your husband of sex. Boy, I'm not gonna play with you. So I just know that there are a group of people. This is the remedy. There are a group of people that you can get around, and they're gonna hype you up. But they're gonna hype you up, and what they not gonna do is be in the tension. They're not going to be in the same space, the shared space between you and the presence of your husband or your wife, whoever doing trying to oppress you in the marriage. And whenever your friends be trying to hype you up, but they won't come into the home or whichever, because I met people after, oh, if that was me, I would have done. If that was me, that would have, great. But manipulation starts very low, very slow. They got their own stuff. Anybody that say, oh, if it was me, I would have did. They also got their own stuff. They also got shit that they dealing with, that they struggling with, that they cannot see, that they cannot get out of, that they're in a cyclical pattern with. They all do as humans. Nobody has the structural plan except God. And this is why we have to follow his plan. People that don't believe in God, whatever, they listen to me, be like, they didn't turn the video off already, which is great. Great. This applies to you, but you are choosing not to apply it to yourself. But I had already gotten married, and here I am trying to be a biblical woman in a marriage where the Bible was not even being utilized consensually as a team. It was being utilized by myself. So by myself toward my kids. So what I suggest is if they have the boldness when you're talking to them and sharing your situation with them outside of the house, oh, this is what's going on, blah, 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 bring them aside. That person that's oppressing you, I guarantee they don't have the strength of the courage, if they even allow that person to come in. They don't have he never had the strength of the boldness while in the presence of my friends. He did in the presence of my parents and my siblings. And the reason is because my siblings would get on me. My brother would be like, man, you acting like he the worst. And my youngest brother would be like, well, I'm just watching the game with him. That's it. Then my sister was out here telling, asking me, well, why didn't you tell him you was going to the movies if you going to the movies? Now he out here looking for you. This is why he's panicking. And I was like, you're right. Now that I've gone to the movies, why am I locked in the garage though? She was just like, well. And they would justify these just egregious responses to his egregious responses to my behavior. So now I have to sleep in the car because I did not tell him that when he was hollering at me earlier, I just went to the movies. He was yelling and screaming at me. I kept silent because I wasn't going to fight him. And he did want to fight. It was just too much. So, and then my parents, my mama always kept silent in front of my dad. And my dad 5'5", my mama 5'9". My mom always kept quiet. Don't never say nothing. Then when she called me on the phone, this is crazy. This is off the phone. Don't come side with me. Don't hype me up. Don't validate me. Nothing. Because when we were in a group of people, why didn't you say nothing then? Because she didn't want to get hollered at by my daddy. I feel like my daddy the same way. And this is why I got into such a calamity of a marriage. Because this is crazy. Anyway, I had an uncle come to tell me, man, you too dramatic. And I'm like, you can stay away. I would hate for you to be caught and get some of this drama on you. But having that personality and being theatrical and being dramatic and being demonstrative when I'm talking has made me feel so sad about who I am and how I talk and how I express myself. But also, when I have literally people that be like, oh, y'all over there laughing at the end of that dinner table. Cynthia need to come over here and make us laugh over here. I have people that like my behavior, but they also don't find it offensive. They also are not trying to control it. They also are not intimidated by it. So I need to really block out what my uncle said and ignore it and take in that I have a great personality for other great people. And he got a great personality for other great people. I see how his wife, I went to dinner with him and his wife, and he was trying to check on my well-being. And I thought that was great. He said, I got a good dude for you. I want you to talk to him or whatever. But his wife stayed quiet the whole time. We sat there for 3 hours. That's the kind of wife you want. That's cool. I'm not that. So since I'm not that, you don't have the capability to see. I just have a different personality. I'm not too nothing. I'm too much for you. Woo, Lord Jesus. Anybody in that situation right now, I think the remedy is get out.